Hi, Brandon Hardison, President of Champion Strategies, with our ongoing workshop on public speaking. People are rediscovering the importance of public speaking, and I am so happy. Whether you're a first time frontline teacher, elementary or secondary, that has to be back in the brick and mortar, and now you're in front of those youngsters, you have the most important job out there is getting them prepared for their adult future by putting in the basic moral tenets of a good citizen. Maybe you're a new supervisor. Maybe you're a new manager. Maybe you are a new director, but you never had to work with team members before to coach and train them, not to scream and holler that they need to hit certain objectives, but coach them, tell, show, explain. Maybe you've been a great speaker in your group and people say, well, why don't you go to public speaking? And then the COVID hit and everybody that's worth their salt are trying to get those convention goers, those reunion participants to come to this little space. So it is crowded, but there are some great institutions, 2 year, 4 years, that specialize in a career change of communications, which public speaking falls within. Also, there are some companies that just practice and give you the tools when you need just for public speaking, but they do cost money. Or maybe you're one of those people that are out there and they just cruise the internet for content or videos and take what they know that they can incorporate into their system, and it doesn't cost them a dime because they know how to practice. So we're here with Champion Strategies just to give you some free information. But before we do that, it would be remiss of me if I did not say this is a day in our country, September 11th of 2001. We do remember those people in the North and South Towers of New York. I myself was working in New York at the time on Broadway between 8th and 7th when it did happen. So we do want to remember all of the first responders, all of the firefighters, all of the police officers, anyone who assisted on that day, not only in New York, but in the Pentagon in Washington, and naturally to our brave soldiers, being Americans true, who got that plane diverted and it landed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, instead of hitting the White House or the Capitol. So we just want to remember them. But let's get to what we're talking about as far as public speaking. Successful public speaking begins with a choice of attitude. That's right, you. From the moment you learn that you're going to give a presentation, you got to choose between two attitudes. You can focus on the possibility of screwing up or the opportunity of bringing your audience potential value very high. While the first attitude is hard to resist because it's fixated on possibly screwing up, the last minute, a dark cloud will come over your head in front of the people and it'll start raining and you'll say, woe is me. Or we can choose the attitude that leads to success. So instead of choosing the attitude that sets you up for a successful presentation, think about how your knowledge, your insights, your attitudes can help your audience succeed. Probably never heard of that one, but here's what I mean. In other words, don't think about how you will be judged. Think about what your audience needs. Now, I do have something that I will share with you when you do get the content, and I call it the relationship between speakers, listeners, and content. Now, if you can just take those three things, you have the audience, the listeners, you, the speaker, the content or the presentation that you're planning on giving, whether it's straightforward, whether it's using some assistance as far as maybe a PowerPoint deck or something. But those are the three dichotomies that we're dealing with. Do you see how the three elements, you, the audience, your content, are in a dynamic balance? In other words, when you present content that's useful to your audience, they'll show their appreciation by paying attention. When your audience pays attention, you relax as a speaker and tell them more, and it becomes more natural and effective because you're speaking from the heart. And as you relax and speak more naturally, you and your audience will both enjoy the benefits of the connection around your content. So, what am I saying? Your attitude is what sets the cycle of all this going in motion. It isn't rocket science, but successful public speakers does require that you step outside of your ego, at least long enough to think about what you would help your audience do. What's that takeaway point? What's that explosion of change? By guiding that awareness as you gather material for your presentation and organize it into a speech that's easy for you to deliver. Now, there's a lot of information on how to do this, a whole lot of blog posts, a whole lot of books. There's a whole lot of things that come in a different way of doing it. You need to just dig deeper in research and find out where you fit in all of this. And by the way, if you find yourself thinking that you don't have a right to be a speaker because other people know more than you, other people have been doing it more longer than you, and I'm just a newcomer. Just remember this. You don't need to be the world's greatest expert on a topic to speak about it effectively. Maybe you didn't grab that. You don't need to be the world's greatest expert on a topic to speak about it effectively. You just have to know something that your audience doesn't know or hasn't thought about yet. Now, to get prepared, you may want to read up on a few things. And like I said, there's various blogs and books that I will give you in the hard copy content of this to help you out. But public speaking is one of the most vital ways for centuries that man has been effectively communicating with man in other cities, other countries, other parts of the world. And when we do it right, and they get that takeaway point, no matter what it is, that's how we advance further. Once again, Brandon Hardison speaking for Champion Strategies on our public speaking workshop, as always imparting on this 9/11 of 2020. You go out and you